Hi folks, and welcome back to another fly fishing video. Now I'm here to film the Farmoor bash. I'm a little late for the kickoff, so I'm going to get on my bike, get up to the first peg and try and show you some action, which could be a challenge today in these foggy conditions. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the Farmoor bash, I was going to fish this competition, and by the time I'd got my name down, the venue was already full. Since then though, there has been some spaces become available, but I'd already committed to film the event at this point. If I'd known what the conditions were going to be, I think I'd much rather be fishing than filming today, as you're going to see that it's going to be difficult to get any kind of coverage of the event itself due to the fog. It is thick and it looks like it's down for the day, but it's promised to clear. It was 10 o'clock this morning, but I believe now they're looking at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now I'm going to concentrate because I don't want to drive into the lake. Well, somebody has to organise these competitions, sadly, and who's taking on the mantle is Mark Miles. And you've been organising comps for a while, Mark, haven't you? I've attended a few of your comps at Manningford, which have been fantastic fun. Yeah,
the last 4 or 5 years I've done a winter comp. Seems to be very popular, especially straight after Christmas. People are, they enjoy it, to be honest.
And it's grown massively, isn't it? So there's 80 pegs on this competition today, and I think Manningford was around 25, so it has grown over the years.
It has, yes.
Because more and more people want to get out and come and fish these things, because they're great fun. You get to bump into old and you can make new friends. It is good, isn't it?
It is. It's the banter. I think people enjoy just getting out and fresh air.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good for the fishery as well. It's, extra revenue.
Absolutely.
Especially with the last 12 months.
They really do need the support, don't they? The fisheries. If we don't use them, they'll just stop existing. It's that simple.
There must be at least a dozen fisheries in the last 12 months that have disappeared.
It's very sad, but I think the state of fly fishing in this country, I mean, I don't want to go into the weeds of that, but there is a problem, isn't there?
There seems to be, There's hardly any youngsters. The BRFFA are doing a junior youth program, which they had quite a few last year, which is good, but it's trying to sustain it. It's hard nowadays.
I think the main problem we have now in attracting people to the sport is not, it's an issue, but it's not the main issue. I think the main issue is retaining people in a sport that is, with the best will in the world, quite expensive to do.
It is. It's quite expensive. I was quite lucky when I was a child. My dad bought me, I had my dad's second hand. But
the hand-me-downs.
Yeah, hand-me-downs, which was.
You're still using.
Still using, yeah. But it is expensive. About mental well-being as well. Out in the fresh air is so much better than sat at home in front of
I would totally agree. I mean, the winter months, if it wasn't for the fly tying, I would be literally climbing the walls.
Yeah.
I could be in the next Spider-Man movie. It gets that bad at times. But even when it's like this, I don't mind. I'm out. I'm about. Sadly, you're not seeing Farmoor for the best, because you can't see past my hand. People are catching fish, Mark, aren't they?
Yeah, I've seen fish up to £10 this morning.
£10? Yes. Oh, I wished I missed that.
You missed that one, yeah. It's first peg, actually.
Oh, wow.
About 10 minutes in.
Superb. So, I've chatted to a few of the anglers that have been fishing, and some are doing okay. Some have been really unlucky. I mean, I've seen a couple of fish now nearly at the net. Phil Shaw Brown, I mean, I felt for him. He had 2 on, very nearly landed them and lost them both,
I think with the fresh stocking that goes in...
soft gums?
Yeah, I don't think they take the flow properly. I think that's what it is. It's not.
They've not learned how to kill yet.
They've not. No, it's not browning around.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, the competition that Mark's come up with, it's 80 pegs. You fish a peg for 30 minutes, then you move up 6 pegs. You record the time of your first 2 fish, and then every other fish after that's recorded. And the person with the most fish wins.
It is, yeah. And if it's tied on the amount of fish, it goes down to the time of the first 2 fish.
Yeah, which is perfect, really. Yeah. I think a lot of competitions now, in fact, I don't know any competitions that don't have a catch and release phase involved in the competition itself.
It's so much better to have catch and release. The fish swim away and fight for another day. And plus, who wants to see loads of dead fish at scales? I don't.
Well, you're of my age, Mark, and you'll remember the days where people were catching ridiculous amounts.
Bin loads, just
quite literally bin loads, because they would just discard them.
They would,
and it was a real shame. And I think now we've gone to catch and release, when it's done properly, it really does work.
It does, yeah. You treat them with a bit of respect. They swim very strong
and they're good to go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to let Mark get on. He's been marking cards up and down this section, and thanks very much for taking the time to speak to me, mate.
Yeah, lovely.
They're fighting well, Lindsay.
Aye, cold water, mate. They'll go like trains, won't they?
Spun all around the line though.
Well done, Tony. Well done, Tony. I just seen you land your first fish. It's great to get off the mark in these competitions. So, would you care to share the winning tactics that brought that fish to the net?
Yeah, he took a cormorant on the middle dropper, on the drop.
So what, you're fishing a team of flies?
Yeah, 3 flies on a floater. I've got egg fly on the top dropper, a cormorant on the middle, and a little lure on the point.
Yeah, I can see you're retrieving very slowly as well. Is that to give the flies time to sink down?
Yeah, it's
through the column.
Yeah, let's get them down a little bit. I think there's hopefully they're swimming up and down this bank, the fish. So.
Well, certainly the fish that were freshly stocked that went in on Wednesday, I would dare say the sort of pegs 1 to 20 are probably the hotter pegs.
Yeah.
From the 80 pegs on the match. So the pegs worked their way round the reservoir, and sadly you won't be able to see that at the moment, but hopefully this fog will burn off and we'll be able to wander round more later, and you'll see much more. So Tony, have you got another backup rod? And most comp anglers have a second rod set up.
I've got a second rod there set up.
And what have you got on that?
That's a single snake on it, on a sinking line.
Yeah, that's what I would have started with, if I'm honest.
The problem is I ain't got many sinking lines, and Harry gave me it.
Right.
And believe it or not, it's falling apart.
He's probably been biting it, Tony. He's been biting it.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll leave you in peace, pal. Thanks very much, and I'll catch up with you later.
All right, Lindsay. See you later, mate.
So Phil, you're on the fast glass with the single snake, and you've caught and nearly landed 2 fish. They've come off literally at the net. So have you got any qualms about maybe thinking of changing, or are you happy that what you're doing's working and it's just a case of persevering with the method?
Yeah, I think it's just a case of persevering with the method. That's all I can say on it, really.
Yeah, you can't help fish coming off, can you?
No, not at all. I mean, if it keeps happening again and again and again, maybe I'll think of a different sort of fly, different style of fly, maybe a bigger hook. But that's my first 2 takes of the day. Yeah. And it's still early.
And you're moving up to another good peg. I think peg 6 will be very good as well, won't it?
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I'll just this will be my primary rod now. And as long as I can still cast it out, I'll still keep casting it out.
Yeah, and it does give you a lot of faith when you're getting some action. And like you say, you've been fishing 20 minutes on the peg and you've had 2 fish. So it's just unfortunate they've not counted.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes sometimes, but I'm not too sad about it. I'd rather be out here today than sat at home not doing anything. So.
Well, I'm going bedroom shopping tomorrow, mate, so think yourself lucky. Thanks very much, Phil.
All right, cheers, Andy.
So Sean's just moved round, he's made the long walk, or I think he got a lift actually, he was very lucky.
Yeah.
And he's already on 1 fish from the previous pegs. But peg 2, he immediately arrived and hooked into a fish, which was really good, and he's seen a couple really close into the margin. So what are your tactics, Sean? What are you doing to entice these fish today?
Well, my first fish was on my first draw, was in close. And so I'm not fishing too close. I reckon the new fresh fish are moving quite in close, so I'm not fishing too far out. Just a steady figure of 8 with a little bit of a pause, and you'll get like little knocks like that.
Yeah, it's often during the pause, that's when the takes come, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And what flies are you using?
I've got like a pink and yellow booby, on the point, on the dropper, and a Fenton cat on top, on the point fly, and that's what I dropped that fish on, was the Fenton cat. So I presume they're freshly stocked fish, and they're not having it properly, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've had a bit of a beasting since being stocked on Wednesday.
I heard they had a bit of a go.
Education, shall we say?
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm just letting it sink down.
So you counting that down in your head, Shawnee, yeah? Or?
No, I can tell, because I'm not fishing out very far.
Yeah, you can see your line disappearing into the water.
Yeah.
It is very clear.
Yeah. And then I'll just do a steady figure of 8, mix it up a little bit. Few fast figure of 8s, pause. Like when I dropped that first fish, I did a few figure of 8s, and it just started to knock. I should have let it develop a bit more, I think.
I mean, it's a great way to start, isn't it? An immediate bit of action.
Keeps you warm, keeps you warm. The old John's in now.
That's promising though, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Nice to get a few fish early if you can. Settles you down for the day then.
Yeah, absolutely.
And takes the cold away as well, doesn't it?
Well done. Well, I've moved up a wee bit in the reservoir and I'm now on peg 4. Steve Cullen's moved round. Sadly he's done the long walk round where he missed the bus and he had to walk, so he's now at peg 4. I'd say he's doing quite well. He's had 4 fish on the line, but sadly he's lost them all at the net. So what tactics are you using, Steve?
You having a laugh? Die 3 40 plus Lindsay and a damsel. But I also had a fish, I had a take on a booby basher far out. The fish on the far out, mate. 15 yards, if that.
Yeah, but boys are seeing them in the margins, like.
Definitely.
And I'd like to encourage you, because there is a few fish being caught up this peg and they're not being caught far out.
What's happening is the fish are running the bank. In Farmoor 1, the shelf's not that far out. So you didn't need to be far out to get a fish, so that's a real added benefit for everybody fishing today. I'm still casting as far as I possibly can on the hope that you get a decent fish further out. But yeah, the fish are close in, mate. It's no rocket science, you just need them to swim past it. And what tends to happen is they'll run the bank till they hit an object, then they'll turn.
Steve, I see you've got a rod rest set up there with 2 other rods. That's a handy bit of kit.
Bill Bonus, Lindsay.
Yeah, I see a few of the boys that must be do quite a lot of bank fishing, and they're carrying the same setup.
Well, the other thing I'll say about Bill is, and this is why you should buy this one. Bill makes those. He's got a grandson. I think he's autistic or Asperger's or something. He's got like a attention thing. So that's what Bill does with his grandson. The Bill knows, so the money goes to the grandson, which is a great thing.
Oh, that's fantastic, Steve. A worthy cause and a fantastic bit of kit. What more could you ask for?
Great bit of kit that, Lindsay. I'm very impressed with it, pal. What I might do is, and Tim to my left, I've got Tim Joyce to my left, his bungs went under twice. He's fished the bung a couple of these pegs and it's buried. Unfortunately, he's not been able to connect with them. So I think the dive 7 rod will be getting swapped over to a bung rod because it's nice and clear. I think sometimes that static presentation when they're used to having a fly pull past them makes such a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And at what point do you think you'll have to change tactics? No.
2 hours ago?
2 hours ago. Listen, Steve, I'll not hold you up anymore, pal. I know you want to concentrate on the fishing, so I'll leave you to it. Thanks for the 5 minutes, bud.
Cheers, Lindsay.
So just as Steve Cullen's left is Tim Joyce, and he's doing quite well. He's had 3 to the net, and he's fishing slightly different from most people along the dam. So Tim, can you tell us what you're doing, please?
After a bit of practice yesterday...
Keep your voice down, somebody will hear you.
Bit of a heads up yesterday. Fast glass. The fish were high, the fish are close in. So it was a fast glass, blue flash damsel. Chuck it out, bring it back, and we were getting a lot of fish following all the way back. And the trick was to get that fly about 20 foot from the bank and stop it and leave it and watch the end of your fly line. And after 3 or 4 seconds, the end of that fly line goes flutter, 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 boom, there's your fish. I managed 3 on the trot round there on one peg, and then the next peg lost one. Had a couple of takes on the bung as well, similar sort of thing, just concentrating on this edge here. These stockies seem to be running that distance. You're fishing for a take or 2 on a peg at the moment.
Yeah.
But, this fog's really dampened things down today.
Well, it's not ideal for videoing either, mate, I can tell you that for nothing.
Not good for nobody.
But have you got multiple setups as well, just in case you've got to change?
Come out with 3 setups. So I've got that fast glass set up there. I've got this indicator with a chamois underneath it.
I'm surprised you can only see your hand in front of your face. I can just about make your indicator out.
See that there. And then the third setup is a booby basher with a big booby snake on it, in case to have a go for the residents if you get a shot at them. I get it out there as far as you possibly can and just anchor it. But at the moment, all my fish have come to that higher line there, just rattling it back, and it's that stop. They chase, stop. Pause, and then boom, it's away.
So now are you doing a similar thing and then watching the bung?
Yeah, now I'm just that bung is in that same area, and that's just hanging that chamois under that bung there in what you would assume is the kill zone. It's crystal clear water. Anything swimming by there is going to see that from a mile off, and hopefully come and have a little look. They've seen a lot of pulling along this bank now. This is what our 4th move now this morning.
Yeah, and everyone that's been in your place, Tim, has pulled.
Yeah. Exactly that, and you get that feeling at this stage of the game the fish has seen these flies backwards and forwards, and those fish that are going to have it have probably had it, have been pricked and have gone now, so maybe slowing it down a little bit. I'm looking for 1 take, Lindsay, so...
Yeah. Well, there's certainly fish there, Tim, so thanks very much for your time, pal.
Cheers,
and I'll
buddy.
let you concentrate on the fishing.
Thanks, mate. Good to see you.
Well, I'm on peg 60 and the afternoon's been really hard going, but on this peg at the moment is Richard Slater, who's done an absolutely sterling job and sitting on 9 fish throughout the day's session. It's not been easy fishing, and 9 is by far the biggest total I've come across as I've been moving around the anglers. So Richard, would you care to share your secret technique that's managing to get these fish to the net?
Yeah, it's just been nice and simple, fast glass, steady retrieve, single fly, black and olive tadpole, nothing too scientific about it. I'm just taking a little bit of a break for 10 minutes. I thought I'd just grab a sandwich, so I'm just drifting a bung around for 10 minutes to see if that's going to work, but I'll be back doing what's caught all my fish.
Yeah, it has been an effective method today, Richard. There's been a few guys that have fished the bung to great effect.
Well, it's a method that when it works, it's utterly brilliant, and it can be really, really effective. But for now, as I say, it's just giving me a little bit of a break because it's been pretty intense for the last, I don't know, where are we at, 4 hours?
So I suppose we're really into the sort of last couple of hours of the competition. It's nearly 2 o'clock now, Richard. What's your plan to just increase that total of 9?
Just keep going, Lindsay. That's all you can do. I've got a method that's working. As I say, I just thought I'd take a break for literally 10 minutes just to ease up a little bit. As you've commented, this method has been working. So, but when you've got a method that's dealt you a good hand, you don't really like to come off it, do you?
No, so, it is difficult to move for something that you've got working. It's a confidence thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I've put 9 fish on the bank, missed 2 of the takes. So this bung is going back in the rack, and we're going to go and fish properly for the rest of this peg.
Right, Richard, I won't interrupt because I think you're well on your way to definitely being in amongst the prizes, if not winning the competition. So
Well,
thanks
that'd
for
be nice.
sparing me 5 minutes to speak, and I'll leave you to it, pal.
No worries, Lindsay, good to see you.
Well, I've come indoors, there's about an hour of the competition left to fish, but the fog has just got thicker and thicker as the afternoon's gone on, and I believe the temperature is dropping away to nothing. Now, the last couple of pegs that I had chatted in on was Tony Baldwin, and he'd had no joy all day actually. He's just been unfortunate. That's the nature of these bank fishing competitions. If you get on the wrong peg and there's no fish in front of you, it's very difficult obviously to get any to the net. But most people have had 1 or 2 fish, which at this time of year and given the freezing cold conditions is pretty good going, and it's got you out the door, which is the most important thing. So I'm going to enjoy a nice hot cup of chocolate and wait for the boys to start making their way back to the lodge. Mark's laid on a fantastic spread for the anglers, which I'm sure will be more than welcome after being stood out in the cold all day.
Excellent.
It's been a superb competition, and it's been fished in great spirit by the guys.
The anglers, the ones that count, and thank you all for turning up. The reservoir fish today, there was 171 fish caught by 72 anglers, which is a rod average of 2.5. Special prize today, it's the Paxo prize. And unlucky Mr. Golden, it's not your turn this year. You came very, very close, and if I had my way, you would have had it. But this prize isn't just decided on today's events, it is over all 2024 season. And the prize for being stuffed the most in the 2024 season is Mr. Wellman. His son, yeah, his son, the one that lived Will, the one that used to live with him. Second prize in junior goes to Lewis Pert. And first prize, the only juniors left. Me. Oh, you spoiled it, didn't you? Jesse Gale. Right, now we come to the main. In third place with 8 fish winning £250, Harry Fox.
Well done, Harry.
In second place, winning £400, Gary Morris. Gary caught 8 fish. And in first place, well, I've got to say, this is a superb bit of angling. Richard Slater caught 12 fish. He wins first prize of £700.
Well done, Richard. Well done.
Good. Go.
All steady, guys.
And there we go.